The most dangerous prison is the one you cannot see. It has no stone walls, no iron gates, and no armed guards. Yet its perimeter is more secure than any fortress ever built. This prison is not made of matter. It is made of definitions. They call it professionalism. They call it stability. They call it being a good citizen. In reality, it is the sophisticated domestication of the human spirit. From the moment you were placed in a classroom, you were not being educated. You were being calibrated. You were taught that permission is a prerequisite for action. You were taught that the bell dictates your focus. Most importantly, you were taught to fear the one thing that could actually set you free: uncertainty. You don't stay poor because you lack opportunity. You stay poor because you have been psychologically programmed to crave the safety of the cage over the cold of the wild. You have a serf mentality, a firmware installed in your mind to ensure you remain a reliable host for the elite's parasites. Today, we will perform an autopsy on your upbringing. We will reveal how the factory model broke your will, why your brain views wealth as a threat, and how to delete the protocols of the servant. Welcome to VANTAGE. Let us look at the bars you've mistaken for a home. To understand your fear of wealth, you must understand your origin. The modern school system was not designed to create thinkers, poets, or entrepreneurs. It was a Prussian export designed in the industrial age to create two things: reliable soldiers and obedient factory workers. The elite of that era didn't need people who understood the architecture of the game. They needed people who would show up on time, follow instructions without question, and find comfort in repetitive labor. Think about the protocols of the classroom. The bell. You do not stop when you are finished. You stop when you are told. The permission. You do not speak or move without the approval of an authority figure. The grading. Your value is determined by how well you can mirror the thoughts of others, not by your ability to create your own. This was the first phase of your domestication. By the time you were 18, your sovereignty had been successfully replaced by compliance. You were conditioned to believe that a salary is the only legitimate form of income, because a salary is a leash held by someone else. Wealth, by definition, requires you to trust your own judgment. But you have been trained for 12 years to distrust your instincts and wait for a grade. You don't fear being poor. You fear being responsible. The elite did not just use schools. They used your own biology against you. Evolutionarily, the human brain is wired for survival, not for abundance. For our ancestors, different meant dangerous. To leave the herd was to die. The elite have repurposed this primal instinct for the modern age. They have linked the idea of security, a steady paycheck, a pension, a 40-year mortgage, to your survival centers. They have made risk feel like a death sentence. When you think about quitting your job to build an asset, your brain doesn't see financial freedom. It sees an exile from the tribe. It triggers the same cortisol response as a predator in the tall grass. The elite thrive on your biological cowardice. They know that as long as they can keep you in a state of managed fear, you will never reach for the high-stakes table. You will choose the 2% raise because it feels safe, ignoring the fact that the cage is slowly being submerged in the acid of inflation. You aren't choosing safety. You are choosing a slow death over a fast birth. The most effective guards in this prison are your own peers. The middle class is the ultimate self-policing mechanism. When you begin to question the system, when you stop talking about the game on TV and start talking about the architecture of assets, the herd will react. They will use the most potent weapon in their arsenal: social shame. Why can't you just be happy with what you have? Don't get your hopes up. These aren't words of advice. They are the screams of the incurably domesticated. Your ambition is a mirror that reflects their cowardice, and they cannot stand the sight. They have been programmed to protect the very system that harvests them. They view your desire for sovereignty as a betrayal of the collective struggle. To become wealthy, you must first become comfortable with being the villain in the narrative of the average. You must be willing to be unfair, cynical, and arrogant in the eyes of those who have traded their souls for a weekend of distraction. If you cannot handle the judgment of the poor, you will never earn the respect of the powerful. There is a dark truth that most success gurus will never tell you. Most people secretly want to be told what to do. Freedom is heavy. Sovereignty is a burden that most spines are too weak to carry. When you are an employee, your failures are shared, and your path is paved. When you are the owner, when you are the sovereign mind, there is no one to blame but the mirror. The serf mentality is a defense mechanism against the crushing weight of total responsibility. You fear wealth because wealth removes your excuses. When you have no master, you can no longer blame the boss or the economy for your misery. You are forced to face your own inadequacy. The elite know this. They offer you the contract of the servant. Give me your time. Give me your genius. Give me your best years. And in exchange, I will take away the pain of having to choose your own path. Most of you will take that deal until the day you die. You will trade your life for the comfort of being a reliable gear. You will die with a high credit score and an empty legacy. The bars are moving. The firmware is outdated. The first step to sovereignty is the brutal recognition of your own domestication. You must look at your desire for security and see it for what it is: a leash. Wealth is not a number in a bank account. It is a state of psychological independence. It is the ability to walk away from any table where the rules were written by someone else. It is cold out there beyond the herd. It is exhausting. There are no bells to tell you when to work, and no grades to tell you you've done well. There is only the reality of the result. Most will close this video and seek the warmth of the crowd. They will return to the factory, grateful for the familiar walls. But for the few, the ones whose spirits have not yet been fully broken, the architecture is now visible. The cage is open. It always was. You were just trained to believe the door was a wall. Stop being a good citizen. Start being a sovereign mind. Welcome to reality.